here at HIM 17 talking to Kevin Johnson, CEO of Secure Ideas. Great to see you again. Professionally evil is their motto, and they live up to it. So much going on in the world of cybersecurity, as always. Yep. But this year, man, the healthcare sector, what a rough year they've had.
Yeah, and it's getting worse.
Right.
It's just going to continue. The bad guys have realized that healthcare has data they want, they have systems they want access to, and they have weaker protections than most of the other verticals.
Right. Yeah. I hear so often in the research I do and in the professionals that I speak to how far behind the healthcare industry is in cybersecurity, and yet the information that we carry is some of the most valuable. It's a really shocking duality that really needs to flip itself sooner rather than later.
Yeah. I think one of the problems has always been we've focused so much, we as an industry, we as people have focused so much on financial data. Like I'm worried about my credit card, I'm worried about that the medical industry has for so long just felt like, well, we don't have credit card data, we're okay.
Right.
And never really thought about the risks of health records, personal information, and everything else. And that's why, because we're spending money where we think we need to spend money, and security isn't it.
Security isn't. Well, it's going to have to be it.
Yes.
Very, if not, now or very, very soon with what's going on, because the attacks are so simple. Ransomware is really, the main offender, and it hasn't even peaked yet.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a link, it's an email. That's it.
Well, and the worst part about with ransomware is the solution is something you should already be doing. Right. It's not even a matter of, do you have the right product you bought from a vendor? It's as simple as, are you doing backups? Are you training your users not to click things? That's it. That's all it takes. And yet, time after time after time, we're seeing hospitals and medical organizations get hit with ransomware and they just lose. And some of them will try to pay the ransoms. The FBI says, 80% of the ransoms paid don't result in the files coming back.
Right.
They don't get the right key and stuff.
That's the kicker.
Yep.
Then you cough up the ransom and you don't get your system back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me so much about it is, like, look, I'm a consultant. I'd like to sell you something fancy and expensive, but the reality is that could be fixed so simply, and people aren't doing it.
It really just boils down to education, because from what I hear across the board, the biggest vulnerability are the system users, the device users, and it's as simple as showing people what emails you just don't open.
We find as attackers, right? Because that's what we do. We break into companies with permission, and we show them how we get in. Without fail, every time we target users, we get in with no problem at all. And the reality is, we're just not showing people why it's a problem.
Right.
And that's why we say, you said it perfectly. Yeah. If we show people why they have to do the right thing, they will. People aren't malicious most of the time, right? They're not dumb. They want to do the right thing. They just don't have the education or the knowledge to help with that.
And they have no concept of how simplistic the attack is going to be.
Right. And we make that worse, right? Because how many times do you hear, oh, it was an advanced threat, it was... It wasn't. It was somebody clicking a link, right? And so we pretend that what we do is so technical and so difficult, and people don't realize it's not.
Speaking about what you want to do, you always use the phrase IT hygiene, and that's really what it is. You scrub the risk, out of your operation. Half of that is education, but what are the other aspects of IT hygiene?
I laugh about it because I have two daughters that are younger, and I never thought before I had kids about the fact that you had to teach them to shower every day, and like I know to shower every day, right? I never thought about that, but we had to teach our kids.
Right.
It's the same thing with IT, right? So you have to back up every day. You have to patch your systems. And it's just basic IT tasks. It's not difficult. It's not. And I wander around here, and we have vendors that will sell you a silver bullet, and we have things like Cylance, right? It takes 45 seconds to bypass Cylance, please, right? If you just do the right things, and they are those, did you apply the patches when they came out? Did you stop letting everybody run as an administrator? Right? Did you stop letting people surf every website they ever wanted to without a problem, right?
Right.
Just basic stuff like that fixes the problem.
What's scary, I think, and I always like to sort of look ahead for the last part of things, but what's scary is that you and I had been talking, and what we've seen in the last year with all the data breaches are actually just cautionary tales, because as hackers figure out how to use the simplistic attacks, you've said to me that those will just become jumping off points for the more sophisticated attacks, where they use a breach in a hospital to actually like hack an EHR company that hospital uses. So that the ransomware is just the beginning.
Yeah. We and I talked about it yesterday at the AMDIS symposium here, is the fact that the attackers are going after organizations not just because of what the organization has, but the connections they have with everybody else. If I break into this hospital, I potentially have the access to everything that's in Allscripts, and I'm not, don't take that as, oh, well, Allscripts is insecure. I'm not saying that. But they trust that hospital. They trust the data coming from that hospital, and the attackers know that. And so they can start to pivot. So you're absolutely right. It's a cautionary tale right now. What we're going to see the next 6 months, the next year, the next 5 years, we've got to get in front of it.
Kevin, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing your perspective. It's a pleasure as always. You're watching HIM17 TV.